And right now we want to bring up a man who needs no introduction to everyone here in the room. He is the Executive Director of Renaissance Social Services, Michael Banghart. And Michael, thank you so much for joining us here tonight.
Thank you.
I know we're down to one microphone, so the three of us are going to share it, Michael. It's been so wonderful to have a chance to get to know you and to talk to you, but let's talk a little bit about the homeless problem here in the Chicago area. And I know Rob was mentioning too that the numbers are getting better, but what are we really up against when it comes to homelessness?
Well, the numbers are getting better, but we're just back down to where we were in about 2005. So we've seen the number of homeless people get worse with the housing crisis and the depression, and now we're starting to make some progress in getting people back off the streets again. There have been resources going into helping people who are chronically homeless and who are veterans, but now we're seeing families who are not getting off the street as well. So we're seeing an actual increase in families, but decrease in veterans and chronically homeless.
What about young people? I saw one figure of 6 or 7% are under the age of 17 and on their own without parents.
Yeah, it's hard to tease out with those family numbers whether they're counting the kids in that or not, but you have a lot of kids who are losing their housing because of family instability. The families moving into, they've lost their housing, and so they're moving into a building with some friends or family that's, a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom for, 2 families living there with like 8 kids. So the kids end up leaving when they're teenagers, or they're being asked to leave because of other issues that they might be having. The parents can't deal with it anymore. So we are seeing more kids ending up on the street as well, and that's a huge issue that we're trying to tackle at this point.
It is heartbreaking to hear that. I also know the schools want to educate those children. It's very difficult when they're homeless because then they can't even sign up to go to school. And that's just another snowball effect of problems. But let's talk about tonight. We're talking about music to our ears, ending homelessness. How do we do that, and how close are we to finding a real solution to ending homelessness?
Well, some people object to the idea of ending homelessness, but when we talk about ending homelessness, what we're talking about is having a system in place where there's enough housing for people who need it, affordable housing. There is a system to provide people who end up without a home to get off the street and get rehoused pretty quickly. And then there's prevention. There's preventing people from getting into the system in the first place. So the strategy is to get people off the streets who've been there for long periods of time, to rapidly rehouse people who end up homeless, and then to prevent people from getting in the first place. And that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about this coordinated system of helping people who are at risk or who end up homeless.
What can the people here do tonight to help, and what is the #1 priority?
Well, I think the #1 priority that we are looking at now is really serving families. And I think prevention is a big way to help those families. If you know of people who are at risk of losing their housing, they can call 311, the city's helpline. There's a lot of great resources. We get referrals from 311 to help people avoid losing their housing in the first place. So they call 311, they get sent to us, and we can help them get over that, whatever that hump is, before they even lose their housing in the first place.
And we know homelessness is a big problem, and I know you have amazing social workers who really do care. In fact, we're going to hear from Lamar in a few minutes too, but I really do think it's connections with people that make the difference in really getting people the help that they need and following through with that help. Tell us a little bit about the newest project that you're working with when you took over from Northwestern Hospital. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So I got a call from Northwestern Hospital, and it was about 6 weeks before they were going to close 3 of their housing programs. And I knew that this was going to be a big loss to our system. We're talking about these fabulous programs run by great people where there's integrated mental health and health care with their housing. And to have those people end up back on the street would be terrible, especially in a time when there's been such a loss in affordable housing the last 2 or 3 years. It's been pretty bad. So we went to the funders who pay for those programs and asked them if we could take them over. And they finally approved it. We had a little less than a month to turn this whole thing around. But we were able to do it. We were able to continue the services, keep people housed, keep their services that they need in order to remain stable, and to eventually, hopefully, move on to independence.
It's impressive you didn't even use City Hall to get involved on that when you're just taking care of business. We like that, Michael.
And we've talked a lot about the big numbers, but it really comes down to helping one person at a time.